In the year 2015, Scott Adams correctly made 9 out of 9 predictions. Count them, 9 out of 9s, making him the best political pundit in the world. But my simple question is, really, Scott claims 9 out of 9 predictions, but critics are taking issue with both of those numbers for 3 very simple reasons. First, he is counting predictions he did not make, he's not counting predictions he did make, and some of his conclusions are questionable. In this video, we will demonstrate all 3 of these issues within prediction number 4, Gentle Ben Carson. In his results post, Scott Adams claims credit for this prediction, which is a reference to his November 13th post, Trump on Carson. But let's go back a little bit further. It's August 2015. Summer's winding down, and starry-eyed young Benjamin Carson is beginning to see a steady rise in his polls. America's golden child, he's on top of the world, and there's no limit to how high he can climb. But it's not all upside. This fortuitous success has put him in the crosshairs of Donald Trump's attacks. On September 5th, Scott Adams writes a blog post, which identifies Trump's recent habit of calling Ben a nice guy. Sounds harmless enough, but Scott has labeled this a linguistic kill shot. Wow, sounds scary. What is that? The exact meaning has eluded great thinkers for years. Socrates came so close with his thought experiments that he was executed for fear of becoming too powerful. Aristotle speculated that the linguistic kill shot sat in the mean of his golden triangle. Some believe early Christian writers secretly planted clues in their seminal work. Richard Stallman tried to open source the solution. It wasn't until breakthroughs in the field of hypnosis in the 1950s that we discovered the true meaning.
And listen to the music as you concentrate and relax.
Let's get back to the Carson post. Nice guy is a linguistic sniper shot. It is engineered to take out its target without revealing where the shot came from. The problem is, this never happened. Ben's numbers continue to rise over the next several months. There was a modest drop at the end of September, which was strongly correlated with some very awkwardly worded comments about a Muslim president.
I would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation. I absolutely would not.
But good old Ben Carson never lost hope, never dipped below the 15% mark, and spent the next 2 months on a pretty solid upward streak. Scott's prediction that the nice guy label would damage Ben Carson proved false. You may think this is unfair, calling this a prediction. After all, Scott never used the word prediction. Well, you're nothing but a silly willy. Scott clearly identified a current event with a label that predicted a future result. But hold on to that standard of prediction anyway. We'll come back later to examine what exactly constitutes a prediction. By mid-November, Ben Carson was neck and neck with Donald Trump. Before Trump made his infamous speech, Ben was in the media for a number of remarks from his past. One might argue that Carson was already set to fall, but that's beside the point. The fact is that on November 13th, Scott used the master persuader filter on Trump's speech to correctly predict Carson's sudden nosedive. Or did he? Let's look back at the posts. Scott gives a point-by-point breakdown of why he thought Trump's speech was just so good. But one thing is notably absent, any sort of a prediction. At all. Perhaps you think the prediction was implied. Well, you're being a silly willy again. The problem is that an implied prediction is not really anything. Try this thought experiment on for size. Suppose Carson's numbers had remained steady or even risen. Is there anything in this post that definitively would have been proven false in either of those scenarios? When a prediction is written in a way that is always assumed true no matter the outcome, it is not a prediction. It's an observation. There's no forecast here except perhaps the word crippled, which is preceded by I assume Trump prefers, hardly the words of a strong prediction. Instead, it sounds much more like a mystical palm reading, so vague it's always right.
Well, it's someone she loves very much, someone she's been very kind to.
Perhaps you still want to count it. But wait, there are 2 problems with that. First, if you count this as a prediction, you must count everything as a prediction, worded at least this softly, which is basically everything Scott writes. You can't count only the winners. Secondly, even if we do count this as a prediction, is it really a win? Let's look back at what Scott said. Donald Trump is holding off for now on the final kill shot. At this point in the race, I assume Trump prefers Carson to be crippled, but not killed, to keep the damper on the other challengers in the pack. What Scott's basically saying here is that if there is a fall, its effects won't be as severe as it could have been. Again, vague palm reading.
Now, you'd better close your eyes, my child, for a moment in order to be better in tune with the infinite.
Best guesses are that Scott used this to mitigate any damage in the chance that Carson's polls remained strong. But Scott played it too safe. His soft prediction padding backfired when Carson nosedived. Scott specifically reasons that Trump was intentionally holding back and keeping Carson as a buffer between himself and a stronger challenger. Well, the exact opposite happens. As Carson dives, Ted Wood Cruz rises. So it looks like Donald Trump really did punch the lights out of Ben Carson and opened up a chance for a stronger foe. The exact opposite of Scott's speculation. Still want to count us as a prediction? In conclusion, systems are better than goals.